Enough with the stupid comments already. People will leave you on the side of the road, stranded, when wiggling your tits and fluttering your eyelids at them no longer works. Do I do that? I admit it. I don't know shit. I'm gonna do a little experiment because the guys at Yamaha told me that my earth wire was completely snapped off. When someone tells me this makes me think like they found it and it was broken right off. And they showed me it. I went to the bike yesterday and I didn't want to start filming because they were really aggravated with me already, so I didn't want to push any buttons, so I didn't film anything. I'm like, we checked the wiring after the bike broke down. We took the seat off and we looked at all the fuses and everything, and had that broken off, we would have seen it. So I was looking through the videos because I video everything, and I saw that the earth wire was attached to the bike. It very well could have been snapped off underneath the plastic. I realize that. So I'm about to call Yamaha now to ask them specifically how they found this earth wire. Because if they're telling me that, it was completely off the lead or the bike or whatever, then I'll know that they're lying. Because I have a feeling, because when I went down there, at first I was told that it fell off due to corrosion. This was the story, first off. Then all of a sudden I come back and he's like, no, it's because you slammed the tool belt on it and it snapped it. So something's not adding up here. They were very aggressive and rude towards me. I asked them about the coolant because I said, look, coolant was leaking. And they said, well, it's not leaking now. How can it be leaking before? Which is like indirectly saying I'm not telling the truth, which is not nice. If they tell me that the earth wire was completely off, then I know that they're pulling my leg. Because I have video proof that it was on the bike when it died. So, yeah, let's see.
Please recharge your account before attempting any further calls.
Shit. I ran out of data. Okay, quick question for you, Roan. When they first got the bike back and they opened it up and they found that the earth wire was, Gavin told me it was ripped right off. Were you there? Did you see it?
Yes, I saw it.
Ah, okay, so what did you see? Like, was the wire actually disattached from the bike, or what did you see?
Yeah, the wire was just attached off.
But was it still attached to the bolt, or was it completely off?
Completely off.
Like, not attached at all?
And when I was going to attach it, if you pick the wire up, you can dangle around.
Oh, interesting. Interesting indeed. So, question here. Which wire, when they said the earth wire, which one was the earth wire that fell off?
This black one.
The black one.
Fell off, it broke off.
And when you found it, when you opened it up, what did you see?
The tunnel had broken off because of the toolkit that was underneath the seat.
Okay, so was it actually off of this?
It broke itself off.
So when you found the wire, was it hanging off?
It is hanging loose.
It was hanging loose. Okay. Oh, interesting. Interesting indeed. Cheers! Rosie from the future! I love how I can be able to do that with this series because it is from a year and a half ago. So I am back home in Canada now. If you want to follow any of my recent journeys, my recent adventures, what's happening now in my life, you can visit my Instagram or my Facebook to have all up-to-date information because my YouTube, as I mentioned, is a year and a half behind, and I'm sorry. Life just kind of gets in the way a lot, and so I'm trying my best to really hurry with the editing, but I'm a one-woman show. So it's really cool that I can go back and relive these moments and this adventure. It's really cool. It is a bit frustrating though, editing footage from a year and a half ago. Even more so because now everyone wants to help me and I'm not even there, and that help back then would have been really helpful. But now I can't really do a lot about it because the trip is already finished. It is over. So I hope you guys still stick around. Don't worry, there's lots more adventure to come, lots more drama. Yeah, there's a lot of that in this series. I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. Like, I seriously just want to get out there and go, but the bike is having just a little bit of issues. I'm gonna pause there and think what I'm going to think of next. Right then. So why have I decided to come visit y'all from the future? Well, let me tell you, when I posted this last video, I got a lot of backlash and a lot of really negative comments. I don't normally take these comments to heart. As I mentioned in my previous video, I think it was 2 videos ago. No, last video, I am very sensitive. I'm an empath. When I got into this business of making YouTube videos, which I never thought I would do. I will talk more about that later. Talking in front of the camera was my biggest fear. Like, I could not do it. So where was I? Oh gosh, brain fart. Gosh, where was I? Right, sensitive person. Coming into this business, I knew that putting yourself out there in the public eye, you're going to receive all sorts of comments. And for the most part, I do receive the most amazing, beautiful, supportive, loving comments. Thank you guys so much. You are awesome. But I do receive a lot of negative stuff as well, being a girl in a man's world. So at first, it really affected me and I wanted to defend myself and I took it really personally. But eventually, as I grew as a person, and started developing my awareness and changing my perception on things, I realized that this negativity is nothing to do with me. It's not a reflection of me at all. It's actually a reflection of what's inside them. Angry. They're just angry and they're suppressing these emotions which are coming out. It boggles my mind that people are intentionally hurtful to other people because there's so much pain in this world already. Why hurt more people? Because these people are also hurting. And so it's just this circle. And so we need to break that with love and compassion. And I'm cool with that. Usually I just have fun with it and I play and I be sarcastic, or I just send love, or I just delete it because I don't want that negativity on my page. It's just kind of like, Going off on a tangent here, sorry guys, bear with me. I have a point, I promise. So anyways, receiving these comments this week kind of got me a bit down, and so this week was particularly hard for me. I don't know, is it the moon? Just a lot of physical, emotional struggles that I'm going through right now, so I wasn't able to keep myself grounded while I was being attacked by all these people who knew better than me. The fact that I don't know shit about anything. I don't know shit about electronics. I just don't. And so during this time when my bike broke down, I had Bob there, who is an adventure rider, who is quite knowledgeable with electronics and with bikes and everything. So he was helping me go through, and he took out each and every one of the fuses. He pulled out each and every one of the wires. I saw him. I was there. He checked everything, and there was nothing visibly wrong that he could see. The mechanic that came didn't bring tools, and he didn't look at the electronics there. So I got a call the next day saying it was my fault, that I broke the bike, that I slammed my tool belt on, breaking this earth wire in half. And so given the information that I had, this video that I took, remembering that we pulled each and every one of the wires, it was like, no, this wire was attached. It is attached to the bike. Now, granted, it may not be attached properly, but it is still attached to the frame of the bike. A lot of the comments that I was getting were people telling me that no, the earth wire was broken from the negative terminal, it wasn't attached. And I see your reasoning here, because technically the earth wire should be attached to the negative terminal, and then it should be attached to the frame of the bike. I quizzed and I drilled and I talked to so many different mechanics and adventure riders and people to get this information, because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. And so all I have for you is the evidence, my word of knowing what I saw when the bike broke down, and the facts. And I really don't know what happened in the end, because Yamaha told me that it was the earth wire that was snapped off that caused the bike to break down. But given what happens next, and I don't want to spoil it for you too much, but the battery is the next to blow. When I finished the trip, my whole bike gone, and it was due to the electrical system. And the mechanic that saw it in Johannesburg said he would not have let me ride that bike at all. And he would not let me continue unless he rebuilt the entire thing from the ground up. He said that whole wiring system was such a shit mess, and I should have never been given the okay to ride that bike, because it was a disaster waiting to happen. The bike blew up in the end. It's finished. Finito. My trip was ended because of the electrical. And all these people commenting, they're from the US, they're from Australia, they're from wherever, where things just sort of go, you know, there's different ways of working on the bike in Africa. I will give you an example, the radiator, which you will see in the next couple episodes. The radiator was completely rusted, and it was because water was put into it instead of coolant. Because I was told from the owner in Zanzibar, you can't get this stuff. So what do? They just put water in it. So if there's not the adequate tools, if there's not the adequate whatever, they just kind of improvised and make it up. What I think happened, and what was explained to me by a very, very, very highly skilled, knowledgeable, professional electrical mechanic, it's really confusing because I'll show you some different pictures here, but it looks like there's an additional earth wire with a red knob in that picture. That yellow knobbed one is attached to the frame, and yes, it could have been attached to the battery at one point and could have broken, because you can see the little broken bit, but at this point in this time, it was attached to the frame. Now, the bike can run with the circuitry. However, it's not going to run for long, and you're going to end up blowing things like the stator, like your fuses, like whatever. In the next episode, you'll hear that my horn was weak, so this could all be kind of it. Again, I don't know anything about anything. This is just information that was relayed to me. And what I know and the facts, I'm just giving it to you because I know you guys like to sort out your own stuff. So that is all I know, people. I don't know if I believe, and this mechanic said the same thing, if all they did was reattach this earth wire, if that's all they actually did, I don't know what to believe from these people anymore, to be honest, because they were very not so nice to me. Not having adequate circuitry flow could have caused everything just to blow in the end. I don't know. This is how the bike was wired before and during my trip. Nothing changed. No earth wire broke and was hanging loose. It was just a circuitry problem that eventually blew something. That is the fact. That is the truth. I just wanted to share that with you to stop all this meat, because I'm just over it. Let me just share with you the comments that I received. Came from Jim from my Facebook. Hi, Jim. Hi. I know you really kind of meant well, and you really tried to tell me that my information was wrong, but there's a way to do this without completely insulting someone and just being plain rude. So I didn't appreciate your message, and it really sucked. Clearly a broken earth, and you still now knock the mechanic and dealer? Geez, this is basic stuff any adventurous rider needs to be educated about. What an arrogant thing to say. Remember, you bought the bike and took it into the wild, not up to standard. That bike was worn out before you got it, and the dealer can't be held responsible for you buying a heap of shit. Better luck next time. I hope this made you a little wiser. Now, being a smartass, especially an incorrect smartass, might work for the short term, but it makes you appear self-entitled, condescending, and bitchy. People will leave you on the side of the road, stranded, when wiggling your tits and fluttering your eyelids at them no longer works. Do I do that? Oh, boy. First off, Jim, I don't know if you actually watch my videos, and I do mention this a lot. I didn't buy the bike, and for any of you watching, I didn't buy the bike. Like, knock it into your heads. You guys just see the same thing over and over again, and don't bother commenting if you haven't watched the series or if you don't know what's going on, because it's really annoying. Because I do like to read all the comments because there's a lot of nice things said, a lot of questions. I do like to read it, and I hate going through the same crap over and over again. I just stop. My head is hurting. Go back into the series and figure it out. I was doing a favor for a friend. I was under the impression that the bike was in perfect condition. Before I arrived to South Africa, I called the dealer. They had the bike already because my friend's friend dropped it off there. They had it for 3 weeks. They weren't doing a normal service. They were asked to look at the bike top to bottom, do a full inspection because this bike was going to cross Africa with just me. So I needed to make sure that this bike was in tip-top condition. Seals, wires, everything that needs to be done needs to be looked at, so I don't end up in this situation. Okay, they had the bike for 3 weeks. That is ample time. I had new tires put on. I had new chain and sprocket. Everything was supposed to be good for when I arrived. When I arrived, I realized, ooh, upon looking at the bike, things don't seem that great. But I invested a lot of money in this trip. I invested a lot of time in this trip. And I invested my heart because this was my dream trip to cross Africa. And finally, I was given this opportunity to do that. You can argue that, you know, why don't you just buy your own bike, or why don't you save your money? Well, I'm an opportunist. And I don't have a big adventure bike to ship around the world. I don't have the money to buy an adventure bike to ship around the world and do this. So I took the opportunity. A friend of mine rode from Zanzibar to Cape Town. He needed that bike returned. Heck yeah, free bike in Africa. You'd be stupid not to take it. And I was under the impression it was in good condition, so yay, cool. I respect the fact that a lot of people have said that I need to take a mechanics course. And I understand where they're coming with that. Logically, that sounds like the thing to do. However, first off, everyone learns differently. So I'm gonna give you this analogy, okay? It's like taking a language course. You take a language course. If you are not surrounded by that language for a year, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, if you're not surrounded by it, if you're not practicing it, it's not going to retain. You're not going to be able to use that language. You're going to forget. So if I took a mechanics course now or whenever, years ago, I'm not going to remember this stuff. It's not going to stick because I'm just not using it on a daily basis. Things don't break down every day. No, maybe my bike does. But normally things on bikes don't break down every day. And I'm a very hands-on learner. So if you saw my video when my front forks were going and I just drilled that mechanic, I asked him over and over and over again because I'm trying to understand the situation. And so I ask questions. When things go wrong, I ask questions. I'm there, I want to see, and I want to understand it. My back shock went, or my forks, I would never know what that felt like. I'm not stupid. I even told the mechanic at Yamaha, I was like, something's not right here, this is not good. But I had never experienced what a bad shock felt like before. And so with my experience, I don't know that. And so when I'm on the road, when things are breaking down, that's kind of when I learn firsthand because it's relevant and it's there, it's tangible, I'm seeing it and I'm able to look at it and fix it. For the next time, then I'll know and it will stick in my brain. But another analogy I would like to make so you really understand, it's like me teaching you photography. I can teach you photography for a day, spend a good day, solid 8 hours teaching you everything about photography, and then the next day saying, all right, now go shoot a wedding. Can you do that? No. Because you don't have the experience. So it's very great to say, oh, you should have taken a mechanics course, but 6 months, 1 year down the road when your bike breaks and you go to fix it, you're like, you don't have the experience. How do you know? So there are so many different bikes, and it's not like I have one bike that I ride that I can know inside and out. I drive all sorts of different bikes. For example, my 1983 Honda Shadow I have here, it is a drive shaft. It is tubeless tires. It is a wet sump. The Yamaha was chain and it was tube tires and it was a dry sump and all of this. So it's just not relevant in my circumstance. So I just wanted to make that clear. I know basic maintenance on a bike. Yeah, okay, I didn't check the oil after I had asked the mechanic to service the bike and do an oil change, because I'm just a trusting person. Okay, my bad, I've learned that lesson. I do check my oil on my bike. I know how to do that. I know how to do an oil change on my bike. But I didn't think to check these things that I asked the mechanic just to do. Like, right before then. I didn't think of that. Sorry. It doesn't mean I'm stupid and that I don't know basic skills of how to maintain a bike, because I do. I've been riding for 14 years. I do know that. Then you might say, well, why would you do a trip with such limited knowledge? Like you saw in the Oman video, no matter what happened, no matter where I was, there was always someone there to help me. And I'm a firm believer in whatever you put out in this universe, that is what you're going to receive. Some of you may say, oh, well, that's very naive and you're stupid. And that's just the way I adventure, and that's the way I do things. And because of these scenarios where my bike has fallen or my bike has broken down, I've met the most incredible people. That is what makes the journey to me. That is what makes the adventure. It's not having everything going all right and me being able to fix everything. It's in these times, it's in these struggles as well, and these challenging moments, and that's when you learn the most. And that's when you not only learn, you know, about life, but you learn about yourself. So I'm so blessed for all of the experiences that I've had, and I really wouldn't have it any other way. So think of it as you would. This is just how I do it, and that works for me. I like it. So hope I've provided you with a little bit of clarity on that, guys. If you do have any questions or comments, do leave them below. This was over a year and a half ago, so please hold back your mechanical advice, because it's not needed at this point. And there's just a lot of opinions out there when you don't really know the facts. So you know what's going on. I'm not trying to be oh, can't even do this. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to prove. This is me. This is, you get it? You don't, like. Yeah, so I had a quick question. I posted this on my Instagram stories. I was asking people, should I continue having back-to-back consecutive South Africa episodes, or would you like me to incorporate other footage from other trips that I've done, just to sort of mix it up a bit? I don't know, last time I did that people were a bit confused and people didn't really like it. So I don't know, like, do you want to keep it South Africa for now till I finished and then go on to the stuff? Because I have filmed a lot of stuff since that tour ended, and I would love to share that as well. So let me know in the comments below, and I'll make it happen. Look who it is! Winston! Hi! So if you guys don't know Winston, you need to check out my Canada to California video or my Rockies video, and he's the star of the show. He's my little love muffin. Last year I actually did a trip with Winston in Oman, and that's really awesome footage. I can't wait to get to that. So lots to look forward to on my YouTube channel. And yeah, thank you guys. Bye. The best comment I got was this guy one time, and he's like, you pack a lot of shit. And I said, yeah, you would too if you were crossing a continent. And his response, yeah, I did. I crossed all of the US, but you know, I was in motels, but still. It's like, don't, oh my gosh. So first off, the US is not a continent, it's a country. And second off, all of the US, Japan, Europe, and Mexico, and I think maybe China can fit in all of Africa. Slight difference there. Number two, I camp. I usually camp everywhere. So I have all of my camping gear. If you're staying in motels, you don't have that extra shit. I gotta pack it. Another thing, there is no Walmart in Africa. You have to pack everything, because you get out there, you can't find anything. Stupidity, you know? So all these people giving me advice, no, just save it. Just spare me, please. Or don't, because it's kind of entertaining.